This is Danny with QuadLugs, and this is the build tips on the Mini XL Tri-copter. We already have a video out on the build tips on this, but on this one we're moving the ESCs from the bottom to this area here. And we're putting the battery on the bottom, and I just think it makes a lot cleaner build this way. I'm using the Q-brain instead of the individual ESCs like on the last one. But you could still use, or you can still use the individuals and, you know, put them in this area. They'll still fit. But, you know, if you've been watching our videos and my builds, I really like the Q-brain. But either way, it'll work, Q-brain or individuals in this area. So, what's different on this one, I mean, the frame goes together the same. If you'll go to the quick build series, it you know, has video. We have videos on prepping the arms, the motor arm lugs, and you know, all the other parts. The arms on the frame are 5 3/4 inches here, 2 3/8 for this piece here. The cross piece wood here is 5 inches. The front arms are 3 inches each. The back arm is 3 1/4 inches. The landing gear are going to be 2 1/2 inches. And we give you plenty of wood for the pan. And you know, you can cut it up. You'll have quite a bit left over on that, and that'll work well. And then we give you enough to go from this area here to the front on the deck. And this is what I've done to the deck. It comes square. You have to do this, but you know, you could just cut a right angle here, and if you wanted to, it's definitely easier to do it that way. But what I did, I went ahead and marked these out, and you know, I cut them. I have a bandsaw, if you have a coping saw. That's, you know, really the perfect way to do it. And then I rounded these edges off. What I did, go ahead and line these sides up here, and I pushed it all, you know, so it fit, and I pushed it all the way back. And then I go ahead and mark the center of my body support lug and drew me a line, and then, you know, push this one where I wanted it, and mark the center of that, mark me a line. And then what I normally do is, you know, put them, and you can see the holes there. They're about in the middle of this area right here. And then you can, you know, draw you a line on that also. And then pre-drill these holes. I use an 1/8 inch bit on these to keep the wood from splitting. And then when I drill it on through, I use a 1/16 inch bit, and that works pretty good for the number 4 screws that we're using. So the piece here for the ESC, I'm making that 2 inches long, and I cut it to fit in between the frame. And from the back, I'm running it approximately 1 3/4 inches. Let's see. Let me see if I get a little bit more accurate there. Yeah, about 1 3/4 inches to 1 3/4 inches to 1 7/8 inches. And then I glue it in. Now the battery, for the battery holder, excuse me, I marked it. I'm cutting it 1 1/2 inches wide. And I'm putting it 2 inches from here to here, and it comes out 2 inches from the front to there, so you know, it's about in the center. And the reason we're gluing that to the sides, you really can't put it on top, and like our normal builds, you know, it would sit on the body support lugs. When you do that, there's a little bit of a gap. When you put it on the body support lugs, there's going to be a gap, you know, about this much in here. And that's about where your battery mount's going to be screwed in. So you really need to put it in between the two pieces and glue it. Now what I did, I use CA normally. On this side, I use some good old-fashioned wood glue, and it works really good with basswood, and all these components are basswood. So anyway, I just used that to do something a little bit different instead of using CA. And you can sand this down if you want to. The rest of it is pretty normal build, except, normally we have the pan coming here, and we're shooting the screws through there to lock it all down like the quick build guide shows, and we're not going to do that this time. I mean, we're going to shoot the screws here, but there's not going to be any pan in there. Except if you want to, let me grab a piece of wood. Except if you want to put a camera mount in this area, you can put, cut a piece and put on the bottom here. And this one will rest in that area. See, if we did that for this pan here, for this mount here, or this piece of wood that we're going to use for the battery mount, you can see how there's a gap because of the way this is made. So that's the reason we had to go all the way to the sides, because that's where the battery mounts, as you're going to see in a few minutes, is going to mount. But if you want to put a platform here for your for another camera, because what I normally do is that, I'm going to Velcro this, and my controller's going to go here, and I have Velcro right here for my Mobius I like to run. And then this area here is for the transmitter, if you're going to use it for, FPV transmitter. And if you want another camera here, like if you were going to, I use the Mobius for the FPV and my recording camera. But if you wanted to have separate ones, you can, and sometimes I do, I'll use the little Fat Shark camera for the FPV and put something different here for, recording. But if you put this down and you put some Velcro in there, you can mount your, it's got plenty of room to mount, like a Fat Shark camera, the little square ones. So that works out real good if you want to do that, or anything else you want to put in front. So, please remember you can, add this platform in there if you want to. And if you do that, you can actually secure it in with, putting these screws in like we normally do and locking that all in. In fact, what we can do is, let me mark this, and let me cut this, and we'll just go ahead and do it that way. That way you have it in case you want to, put anything on it. Let me go ahead and cut this real quick. There we go. Let's see how this fits good. And then what we're going to do is we take a 1/16 inch bit, and we're going to, like we normally mount a deck on, or a pan, we're going to go ahead and hold this. Let me hold this right here, keep it from moving. And then we'll drill this through. There we go. And then we'll drill the other. And so to keep my fingers out of the way. There we go. Okay. Now, when we're doing this, we'll use the 5/8 screws, and that'll go through, and that's going to lock the cross piece in and secure the pan in here. So whether you put the pan in or not, you want to go ahead and definitely put some screws in in these two here, because that locks your frame together side to side. So, and when you have them tight enough, you'll see the screw tip start to show here, and you can see that there. And that means you're in good shape. So we know that's tight enough. And if you're going to be doing that, you can lock this piece in. But you know, I think we're going to be fine. Well, let me do this. We'll lock it in from the top, because I want the bottom smooth here and here, because you'll see when we put the battery in, we're going to have some Velcro here too for battery support. And we'll go ahead and do this one. And then we're going to wind up putting Velcro over this, and you know, that'll be a really good attachment point for anything you want to put on there. And then this also serves to tie all this together. But like I was saying, if you do not put this deck in, so you can see your screw, the tip right there, that means that it screws far enough in, it's good. If you're not putting this deck in, you still need to run these screws in here, because like I was saying, you have some wood in this area right here, and this ties all these pieces together to lock the frame together. If you do not put this wood in, the screws you would use are the 3/8 inch screws that we furnish with also. And that pretty much does that. Now what we'll do to tie this one in, being that we're not putting anything there, we're going to use the 3/8 inch screw. We're going to go ahead and put that in. And on the quick build guide, it shows you, you know, prepping all of these, because what you have to do, there's only one screw hole, and that's this one that comes with the part. You have to drill through on all of these to achieve, or to get this hole here to put a screw in. But that's on the quick build guide, you know, on prepping the motor arm lugs. So anyway, we're in good shape here, and we're ready. So we went over the piece of wood here, glued it in. I already put Velcro on it. We went over this piece of wood here. It's glued in. It's ready for the battery mount. And I'm gonna go ahead and run this for my, for whatever I want to use it for, which will probably be a camera later on. And that piece is in, and all the screws are in, and it's all tied. The frame is tied in together. And like I said, I have the motor mounts on. The swivel mount, we have a video out on the swivel mount, how to prep it and get it ready to put on. So you can take a look at that. It's really easy to do. And I think once after you take a look at the video, you'll see just how easy that is. The servo that I use is an Overkill, but I tell you what, I really love these. It's a little bit expensive. I think it's 20 bucks or $24. It's worth it though. They last forever. At least I've had really good luck with it. And not only will they work really good in this size tri, but if you expand this to the bigger tri, they work very well. So that's the ones I use. All this is on the site, all the wood lengths, everything that I use. Toward the bottom of the product page, you'll have a complete list of everything I used. And again, on that same page will be, a list of all the wood sizes or lengths also that we used. So the only thing different on this build than what's on the site is I use 2208 motors on they're on the product page rather, and that's what I normally use. These motors I had from another frame, and they're 2212s, 1450 kV, and they're Supo motors. So we're gonna give this a try. be a lot more power, but the 2208s are more than good enough for this. Plenty of power. If you've watched any of the videos so far, the flight videos, that's what I use. So I think we're in good shape here to, let's get our battery mount on. You'll hear my little puppy barking. I have a little small Chihuahua, and she voices her opinion quite a bit. So what we're going to go ahead and do is drill a pilot hole here. This is about where I'm going to put it. And let me get one of these drilled. And you can see here, if we had it just laying, we had this pan laying on top here, you'd have this gap, and you see where this hole is winding up at. And you can see that it wouldn't work. We have to go this way with it. Works really good. Crazy stiffens up the frame too. It's incredible how much it stiffens it up. It's already really good. Don't get me wrong. This is like stupid crazy stuff. So let's go ahead and get this one started, and we'll furnish you the screws on this. And these are 3/4 inch screws that come with this, number 4 but 3/4. Let me go ahead and get another one of these in, and I'm going to line this up and get it straight just by eye. You can measure all this if you want, but I'm just going to do this. I'm going to hold it down with my finger here, keep it kind of straight, and go ahead and get this one drilled. Let's get this one put in. I normally put these screws in by hand. If you use a drill, they don't go, I mean, we could use a little bit longer screw. We have the room, but these catch pretty good. But if you use the drill, you can strip these out really easy. And I'm going to show you what I do after this to really make this crazy strong. So we're going to continue with this. And if you have any of our kits and you got the battery mount with these extensions, you take them off. They just pop off, and I'll show you that in a second. Well, you know what? We have a video out on prepping these motor mounts. You can take a look at that. But these pieces here are attached here on the side. You just break them off. But if you have one of our kits and you saw that and you were wondering what it was, you're kind of like, okay, now I understand. And you can do this and put a drop of CA on that, and that's what I recommend. Or you can shoot a screw right here. I normally go ahead and put a screw. Let me do this. We're gonna have a piece of we're gonna have a piece of Velcro that's going to go right in here, and for a cushion for the battery and to hold the battery, so you know it covers this up. And I'm just going to put a little bit of a, and that's a 1/8 inch bit, and that's just through the motor mount. And the wood, I used a 1/16 inch bit to do the pilot hole in there, and screw that in. This is super solid. Battery mounts on. We're gonna wait to put the strap through until I put the Velcro on. all the screws for the mounts are, the arms are in. So we're in good shape. So the next thing that, I'm using a key brain, and again, this came off the same quad that these came off of. And I went ahead and cut these and to fit. And this particular, there's 4 ESCs in here. So this one here, obviously we're not going to use. We don't need it. So I put some shrink tube on there, and we're just going to wrap it around the top. And if we use this on another multi-rotor, we'll have this, and we're good to go. So we're not ruining it. So let's slide this in here. Let me move this. There we go. And we're gonna put that on the Velcro, and that's gonna lock itself in. And we're gonna go ahead and hook up the motors. Now, we're gonna check rotation at a later time, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this to get all the wires. Okay, they're gonna go like that, so that worked out pretty good. This again is gonna be put like that. It's gonna be there for future. And it's good too, because if you ever lost one of the ESCs in here, in other words, one of them ever, burnt up on you or whatever, you can switch things around and make this one active and still be able to go on with it. I use these Velcro wire ties. They come in a longer length, and I cut them when I put them on. And I'll tell you what, I really like these. I do a lot of builds, and using regular wire ties, I think, pretty much strains the wiring, and especially if you use the same components over and over, and I do that sometimes, or quite a few times. There's wear and tear on the wires. This doesn't, and I can use them over again. Now what I normally do is put a piece of tape over the head of the screw, and I'll do that later, and it kind of saves the wires over a period of time, to keep any kind of abrasion down. So there we are, we're in good shape there. You can see what it looks like whenever we put the top on. The wiring's gonna turn out really nice there. And I normally put a tie there, but I don't know, I may not even do it on this one. I don't think we may not need to. So I went ahead and prepped, all the wiring here for the controller. And on the key brain, the number 1 ESC in here is going to number 1 motor. Number 4 ESCs going to number 2 motor. And number 3 ESCs going to number 3 motor. So it gives you the wiring here, like number 1 is red, so that's going to be our number 1 color on our controls. Number 4 is brown, so that's going to be number 2 motor. Number 3 is white, is going to be number 3 motor. And then the number 2 ESC in here, which we're not using, which is orange, is going to be the one that I have put shrink tube on it, so it's going to be isolated and saved for a later date. So you can turn this any way you want. It can be turned around. Your wiring can be coming out this side if you wanted to, and obviously number 3 would be number 1, number 2 would be number 2, and number 1 would be number 3. You can do that if you wanted. This is just how I chose to do it. So there's your ESC. You can see why we didn't put the wood on top, because if you can see right here, it would have been right up against the bottom of the supports and the body supports, and this way we have some room for air movement, so help cooling. So that's the reason we do the wood the way we do that. So we're ready to put the top on. I went ahead and wrote here the color and the corresponding motor number. So I'll have that whenever I go to put the controller on. So this is going to go this way. I've already drilled these holes, and that was just to make it a little bit faster. But like I said, I just went over that. It's very simple to do. Let me see if I can get this in there and see where it needs to go. There we go. And we're going to use 3/8 inch screws here to hold this down. I'm going to line this one up. There we go. Oop. I think I'm going to use the little mini KK2 board on this one, because I already have it set up on another another tri, and I'm just kind of being lazy. We'll just make sure this is all screwed in good. There we go. And that's the wiring in front. Looks pretty good, looks pretty good. We'll check all this in a minute and kind of clean that up. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some Velcro on this and get the controller and put some Velcro here, here, and here. And the reason I'm doing that is because the battery, it'll help support the battery. And I'll be right back. Okay, we have the controller on, and it's a KK2 and 2.1, and we have a lemon receiver, and we have everything wired in. Now the on this KK board here, you have to have power not only on terminal 1 or motor 1, but also I'm running power on the number 6 terminal, and to have the servo operate. So what I did, I tapped off of the power leads going to number 1, and I just tapped off of there and made another plug, or put on another plug here. So we have everything wired in. It's a very simple wiring. If you need some more details on that, there's a lot of great sites on the net, but if you'd like me to do something further with it, get a little bit more detail, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to do it. I have some videos up on setting up a KK board, and you can check that out, and if that's not good enough, I would be more than happy to produce a little bit more in detail video on that for you. But check it out first. I think that will take care of all your questions, or if you have any. The KK2 board holder, I have a video on that also, and you can check that out, and it shows how I, set up the KK board in there. All these videos can be found either on our site, QuadLugs.com, or you can go over to our YouTube channel, and under playlists, there's a, they're broken out. So either place you can check it out. Everything is, the rotation has been checked out. Looks like we're good to go. The battery mount, is installed, and the Velcro's on here and here. And I put some Velcro here on the battery mount itself, and then ran the strap through. So we ought to be really good and secure with any battery that we put on there. Like I said, take a look at our channel, and we have, like I was saying, that the quick build guide will guide you through everything I'm putting together, the frame and all the components, prepping them. And we went over the details on, putting the ESC on and the wood on this Tri. So I think we're pretty well covered on it. If there's anything else you'd like to know or that you feel like I've missed, please shoot me an email, or put a comment down at the bottom of the video, and I'll be more than happy to address it. Anyway, we're ready to go, and this is just another example of QuadLugs. I mean, this same body, you can lengthen the arms and make this into a lot bigger tri-copter if you choose to, just by lengthening these arms. And of course you'd have to put some, lengthen the wiring a little bit. But you could definitely make this quite a bit bigger if you choose to with the same body. Or the, body frame. And the neat thing about this, once you have the lugs, I mean, you can go into a quad, a whole number of different multi-rotors that you could build with this. And not to forget your own ideas, because that's the best multi-rotors to build, is one from your own, or one of your own. So anyway, thank you for all your support. I really appreciate it. It keeps all this coming along. We have a lot of neat things coming up, and please stay tuned. And again, thanks for watching. This is Danny with QuadLugs. I know you're gonna like this one. Give it a try. Anything else you need on it, let me know. And oh, the other thing is that, I put the Velcro like this because I'm grabbing my Mobius. That's why. So, works great. The FPV transmitter can go here. You're in good shape. You can do some FPV with this thing. It flies really good. We're gonna have a little bit of footage on this coming up real soon on this new build, and I'll get that out, and we'll see you soon. Take care.